she gonna do? Well, one other question. How are you gonna? Because you have to read it from because we have those on here. So how do you?
Yeah, she'll come up here.
Oh, okay.
Although, is there a place for? Oh, dang. So should I be on that side then?
But then you gotta.
Well, we can always switch once I'm finished.
Okay. So, should I go on? Well, let me introduce everybody, and then
okay. And I got a question. Can somebody monitor this? Because sometimes it's a cut off after
yeah, like 20 or
30 minutes. So if you see something red, just let it cut off and then just hit start recording.
This is for Facebook. This is Facebook Live.
Okay. So we got to go live.
Okay, so y'all just keep letting me know like time.
Okay. So and if we say time, just keep on talking. Don't change. Okay.
Yeah, we kind of do a wrap up if we see like anything beeping.
Okay.
So we about to go live.
All right.
Hold on.
No, because I'm scared they ain't gonna be able to see this.
We gotta do this straight line.
I thought so.
I can see Larry.
It's 23 in March. I feel so you can see what you see.
Right.
Yeah, she said so. We got all this stuff in the house.
Yeah. We film it.
We film.
Oh,
We got tons of equipment, green screen, cameras, mics.
Oh, wow. I know.
Come and record over there.
You know?
Take a picture of my head, put it in the background.
At the Jones Studio.
On this backdrop.
I don't think we got
all
all
the
the
lights
lights
coming
out of it.
Yeah, you know all of that. Hands coming up, the halo up there, everything. The pinnacle of.
Trade is like
You need
short.
more. Is that enough light?
Dark.
No, it's a.
On this side, looking at me. Dark.
That light right there. Because I'm seeing this glare.
This?
The
soft and the shade.
Yeah, that's better.
I wonder if I do it from the side, will I be able to see everybody? No, not that one.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this one is for Facebook Live.
Which one?
This one.
Yeah, but I'm saying, if that's what we're looking at, then this is looking dark. No, that's actually separate. That's
separate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm about to see, because we can't see everybody.
I know, I'm just cool.
Actually, I'm probably the problem since, dark. So you see the whole
Isn't that nice?
Yes,
We gonna make this one.
very shy. I'm very shy. I'm very shy.
We are not nervous. I'm not nervous.
Yeah, it's just a
No.
This is actually more chill than a conference with all these people. Like, this is
Look,
just
when we
fun.
last filmed, we were all sitting on the bed like we was some pimps or something like that.
Right.
Comfortable. That was word on the street. In the basement.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta
Okay,
do.
we ready. We 5 minutes behind schedule.
Hold on. Tona, if I could get you to slide your chair a little bit more, like, can I have everybody move just a slight, so we can get everybody
To the right?
Yeah.
All
And
right.
do we have an additional light? Can we make a light brighter?
Ken,
Yeah, we can.
Please.
I don't want to turn this one on. That's gonna give a glare to everybody.
Or can we turn that light on over here?
Is that better?
No, the one that's on the ground.
Yeah, this one is on.
No, the other, this one.
I'm canceling.
Oh, no, the one behind the TV. Troy, can I have you slide a little bit more closer to Tom? We're going to have to be tight because this camera is. Antwan, can you slide a little bit closer to Jonathan?
Everyone took showers this morning.
Is that giving you enough light?
That's better.
Without it?
I mean, it's a delay, but it's better.
Okay. I was
Okay.
concerned about that shadow behind them.
Well, I'm talking about the light by the TV.
Yeah.
yeah, this one right
That
here.
by the
I'm
TV.
wondering if that's gonna do the same thing.
Let's just turn it on.
like Carlton right now.
Matter of fact, Tona, you have that other phone, that spare phone? Because we want to use that because that camera might be bigger.
It doesn't. Yeah, but then we got to go through the problem with the Wi-Fi and all that.
Nah. Well, we could link into it last night.
Yeah, but this doesn't have service.
No, it
To
doesn't
go
need.
on Facebook.
No, you can go on Facebook as long as it's
That's why there's
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
Okay.
The Wi-Fi.
Does this have a password?
No, I think it should be the same.
And can you sign in to
Oh yeah, can't get on Facebook with this.
If you're on Wi-Fi,
Okay.
You sign in?
we are 7 minutes behind schedule.
We know. He's having technical difficulties. We're gonna be fine.
Do we have a diva on the dance?
I think we did.
I think so.
We're gonna do this. The people was waiting for this conversation. They gonna be fine.
Yeah, they can wait. They can wait a few more minutes.
They made us wait the whole extra damn hour.
Mm-hmm.
They fucked the shit up.
I'm triggered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is going perfect. This is going swimming. You're out of your mind. I want you to know that.
All of a sudden, the people bust through here.
You got your blade.
No, she got to type in her name.
See that one
No,
song right
you
there?
wouldn't log in. Use this phone.
That's my sharpest machete.
Yeah,
Yeah.
catch him.
I don't use guns. We use machetes for intruders. Yeah, we gonna have to get
That's
that
tough.
shit knife.
Thank you.
It is. And I tell them when they come, they're gonna get this machete. And you gonna get in the face you don't want it.
Bryanna.
Hold on. I'm about to look now. Yes.
Because
Okay.
there's no shadow behind him. See?
Yes. Okay.
Got my good
This is
profile
bad.
size. You got my good profile size?
This is way
But
better.
no one's looking at that, so if it don't have enough, if it goes off or anything,
Somebody might.
we're not gonna know.
Oh well, you will know, because it's attached to. Facebook is still on Wi-Fi. We keep thinking
No,
about
no, no, no,
service.
no, 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 no. I'm talking about if you know how it goes off on Facebook Live, it goes bling bling or whatever. So I guess if you could listen for that, then maybe because then you can restart it on Facebook.
Or is just somebody do a timer for 30 minutes once we start?
Okay.
Captain Obvious. Just going for Admiral Obvious, aren't you?
One for 30.
Once you start.
And then once you hit the top, well, this is the end of our such and such segment. And we will be back in a couple of, after this break with the next segment.
Okay.
These messages.
We got
Or
a test.
sponsorships.
Okay.
Y'all was savvy on it.
The more you know, we do it.
And make it
the more you
subtle.
know, it's public service
Yeah.
announcement. Yeah, we need that logo for this.
Okay. And then once I get in there, we're going to try to crunch up title that way.
That's some cool theme music.
Okay. No Tona. Okay. Oops. Okay. We about to go live. And 3.
Uh-oh. There's some thug. Oh, no, you good.
Watch your leg.
Watch it.
Let's cross it in the.
We on live, so just keep going.
Oh. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conversations with Tona Brown. I'm Tona Brown, obviously, and I'm here with a panel of trans-attracted men. We are revisiting this conversation because there was a protest at the Creating Change conference, and so I want to get these men all in one space, encourage them to keep doing the things that they're doing, and to talk about this much-needed conversation. You all have come to me and said that you want this, and so we're going to give it to you. But this time it's uncensored, and it's on YouTube and here on Facebook. So again, thank you guys for coming back and doing this yet again. We even have a new gentleman here, Mr. Jonathan Hayden. Thank you. Antwan Fields, thank you. And of course, Troy Kennedy. And my good sister, Miss Bryanna Jenkins. is here to help us as well. So to get started, can you all just say a little bit about yourself, and in that way I don't have to do that. Okay. Let's start with Jonathan.
Okay, well, good morning. I'm Jonathan Hayden. I'm a native Washingtonian. I'm an educator. I'm a mentor. I work with at-risk youth here in Washington, D.C., Ward 7 and 8, mentoring and getting them prepared for college. I also work with PG County schools as well.
A lot.
Yeah.
What about you, Antwan?
Oh, I'm Antwan Fields. I'm not nearly as advanced as Jonathan is. I live in Minnesota. I'm a hard worker. I'll just say that at a night.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Literally.
Been herself.
Yeah, but she's gonna see this, so I'm just laying the groundwork when I get home and she hits me. That's the boss. I'm giving her.
And Mr. Kennedy.
Well, I'm Troy Kennedy. I've been doing, my version of activism on the ground. I've been in relationships with trans women for 30 years. Only the last 15 years have I been out and open, living in my truth. I just think it's important that we men start to have these conversations to change the paradigm, change the dynamic on how we are viewed, how we view ourselves, and as well as to start a discussion that never happens. This is why we're doing this today.
Yeah, and I want to thank you all yet again for doing it. We're going to touch on a lot of subjects here. Obviously, as you can see, this is not a conference room. This is not a conference. So we're going to skim over some things. The first thing that I have that we really wanted to talk about, that these gentlemen wanted to talk about, is some of the violence that we're seeing towards trans women. I have something here. During 2015, we saw a rise in reports of violence against trans people, particularly trans women of color, with there being 23 murders of trans women in 2015, and 22 were trans women of color. What do you all want to say about, what do you guys think is the reason for all of this violence towards trans women?
I think it starts with many things. Self-esteem. These men have low self-esteem of themselves and don't know who they are and can't accept who they are, accept the fact that they are attracted to trans women and want to hide it and feel that trying to hide it through violence and through all that is the way to go, instead of recognizing that there's nothing wrong with being attracted to trans women. Love yourself, confidence, be confident who you are and recognize, and also knowing your identity. I'm pretty sure these men out here don't know who they are.
I want to excuse myself from the panel.
Okay.
All right. I guess I think I agree with Jonathan, but I also think that a lot of it is society. We live in a society that's very not just sexually uptight, but identity uptight. We have people that I'm constantly arguing with on Facebook who are telling you that you are, if you love a trans woman or if you ever even had a single sexual experience with a trans woman, you're gay. Now, that's not how this works. That can't possibly be how this works. See, I do stress that term very loosely. Who can't
Condition. European colonialism and the Abrahamic religions are a big issue in how our dating trans women are. That's the biggest issue. That's the biggest part of the problem. It's
your mom, your grandmother, your grandfather, those don't accept you. Phase of life.
Yeah, and we also are going to talk a little about the homelessness and survival sector work and things like that as well. But one of the things I want to piggyback is after you transition and after you figure out who you are and you learn that there's nothing wrong with you and you're trying to figure that out, feeling that sense of abandonment. So abandonment was one thing. Does anyone have another, a fear, a gripping fear?
Actually, I can contribute to that. So another gripping fear is we were taught in the black community, and I hate to say it like that, but it's the only community that I've ever really known. We're taught that we can solve so many of our problems, and we can bring so many people back in line with simple violence. We get taught this, and it becomes an ingrained part. And frankly, in my own case, I still find myself thinking this in, like when I watch a film or when I'm doing, when I'm reading a book. My mind immediately jumps to violence, and to this day, because of some violent acts that have been committed against me, I still have a paranoia about going to places that I don't know, or that people I don't know, I'll speak very sparingly to them or things like that. And that's the problem that we face. We know that if we're gonna talk to somebody that doesn't know us, that doesn't get in that's not in sync with us, we fear violence. We don't just fear abandonment. We fear the sullying of our personality, of our reputation, simply because this is something that is against the norm.
Well, another thing that about fear is fear of losing your masculinity, fear of being labeled as gay. Black men have always been viewed as the epitome of manhood. You look at athletes and things of that nature. You're looking at we are supposed to be at this level, and anything that takes away from that can make a lot of people feel just the fear of losing that manhood, that masculinity, that losing that place in society. And that fear is, for a lot of guys, it's very, very real. For myself personally, I really thought that people would look at me differently. For me, and I can only reflect about the opposite was true. There's a strength in that for quite a while now. Negative has happened, even by trying to take custody away from my son. I stood up in my truth. I didn't have to worry about when I went to court. I never feared what would happen because I know that I was doing the right thing. I know that that was a part of my son's life. My son loved me and I was doing the right thing. My parents were terrified. They felt I needed to hire an attorney, and they thought that they were afraid that this was the end of the road. Oh my God, you're going to lose your son. But the opposite was true. Because I stood in my truth, because I believed in myself, and this is the thing that we want guys to understand. You have to believe in you. You have to believe in yourself. You have to love yourself, and you have to stand up.
And I think that is key. I think fear.
So we're going to wrap this segment up. We're going to come back with you here on Conversations with Tona Brown. Okay?
Okay, we still.
Okay. Now, since we're talking about violence, we should also talk about the false narratives. There's a false narrative that the media pushes that are constantly deceiving men in order to be with us. And I would like to hear what you guys feel about it.
I remember showing that one of the titles was for Friday's episode was Bad Experiences with Transsexuals. And I thought to myself, everything about that is wrong. This man is basically what he does when everybody fights violence against trans women by saying
supposed to be there to protect her. So I feel like this whole thing, a blog post, it's just, oh, another trans woman died. That kind of narrative, right? Sometimes it gives me, at times it makes me just want to go, oh, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I doing this? I'm going to get enough of it. I'm going to take Felicia. I'm going to get the hell away from everything.
interesting.
Women back in 1985. Um, the first when I met, I didn't know that she was trans. She had trouble. I helped her out. We exchanged. I gave her my pager number. That's all I don't know where that was.
But it's okay.
And I for about 6 or 7. Native Americans, there's see 5 different genders. This was okay. So what happened? What happened was the demonization and sweeping it under the rug.
Okay, so we're going to pause right there. Pause. We're going to come back with Conversations with Tona Brown. Good job.
We need a commercial.
We need to keep going on that.
Code
I got
45.
So hold that
I know
thought.
you
You have to
got
go back on.
Oh, yeah.
So you know how
We had over 119 viewers for that first part.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Good job, y'all.
Right.
Excellent. She's like, I'm going to church.
So we should share it, right?
Yeah, you can share it on your walls on Facebook.
We need a Mentos commercial.
And then we're about to do another one. Have you ever used Facebook before? Okay. Because it'll stop, and then it'll post right automatically on my wall, and then everyone can share it. Okay. We gonna get together. It's all here. It's all. It's new to me too. You know me.
Come on up, yeah.
Well, I can't do everything and be beautiful.
We got time for some chicks.
No time for some.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
deep.
We about to go. Okay. We
This
about to
part
go
two.
live.
This
In
part
3,
two.
2, 1.
Hello and welcome. This is part 2 of Conversations with Tona Brown. I'm here with a distinguished panel of trans attracted men and my beautiful sister, Miss Bryanna and Jenkins. We were talking in the last one about what were you saying in particular? Do you remember?
We were talking about our aha. We were talking about our aha moment. We're talking about
Yes.
Back to the beaker area.
Right. We decided, but there was something in it.
but
In the year 2000, there's
He had to go to the library to pick up. I had no clue. Nothing. Because that was not anything I was educated in. And I just left a church kind of existence where I was for years. I just faithfully followed the tenets, read the Bible, all that stuff, and then when I was 16 years old, started having these pains. I started asking questions that nobody wanted to give me an answer to. Well, the answers they did give me were all complete garbage. So it was a crisis of identity that she finally helped me through a few months after, because we were changing smiles, we're attracted, we're not saying anything.
Aww.
So one day I finally picked up the courage after interviewing shortly after I moved in with my grandfather, may he rest in peace, who by the way accepted me wholeheartedly.
Oh, that's good.
And I picked up my courage and I started talking to her. And as I was talking to her, I started taking note of how feminine and
how natural it felt.
yeah. And the next thing I know, I'm thinking to myself, I could actually see myself with this lady.
So that was your aha moment, was meeting this young lady.
Older lady.
Older
At
lady.
that time, she was 41.
And you were how old?
17.
Oh, the cougar.
I know that's right. And she led you the way.
She opened that door.
Open his nostrils open, huh?
Right.
That's the perfect term for it. She opened that door and she gave me the ability to understand what it was. And ever since then, I've always questioned my own identity, because I figure that certain identities are so rigid and so unyielding that you can't possibly have that identity and still do what you do and conform to this.
Right. Because this whole conversation is from a cisgender heteronormative situation, but there are people I do want to acknowledge, and some of you who have written me who are pansexual, who are have different identities, who are, we have, unfortunately, the trans men who are also attracted to trans women are not represented here. They were unable to make it, but we will do another conversation with phenomenal trans men who are in long-term relationships, because some of you are going to contact me, okay? You got to be in long-term or in present or past in order to get up here, okay? So at any rate, what was your aha?
Aha moment, I guess. I think mine is different. Part of my background is anthropology. So when I come across something new, I start to study it, especially when I feel that I like it or if it's new. I came across my first real aha moment came watching a TV show, watching Sex Bites on HBO. And I came across two women who I thought were gorgeous. Two women I just thought they were really gorgeous, and they were talking about their movies that they were doing and everything like that. And they were showing the set, and they were showing this threesome and stuff. But when they finished at the end, both women got out the pool, and of course, I realized that penises. I was like, oh wow. And I was attracted to these women, and I was still attracted. And I sat and listened to them afterwards. After that they talked what they were doing, who they were, and I listened intently and liked it. Was aroused, but at the same time I was like, this is cool. So I wondered afterwards. Wait a minute. All this time I've been dating cisgender women. I've been considering myself to be straight. I actually questioned my sexuality, thought I was gay. Why did I like this? And so I had to learn. My mind will be like, okay, I could go into the straight wrong way and just get into the world the wrong way through just sex, or I can learn some more. So I learned to find out what this is, what are transsexual women, what are transgender women, what are these terms, what are these things here that I'm being familiar with, because obviously I like it. And my experience with trans women had been very, very limited. You only hear the little phrase you see in magazines, like ones I hate, like chicks with dicks, things like that. But you don't hear nothing else. But you don't know anything else. So strong black man recognizes I don't want to be labeled wrong. More about it. So that was my aha moment. I'm more open. Came a little bit to. As I found more people later on, when I first came out, you couldn't find nobody to talk to you about that. You couldn't even go to a therapist about it because nobody knows.
Yeah,
I couldn't go. I said I couldn't go because the first thing they think is you're gay, and I know I'm not gay because I'm not attracted to men.
Exactly.
And a penis don't make you a man. All right, it don't make you a man. And I knew that. I'm like, I don't want this dude. I want this dude. And I had no problem saying that. I knew that. But at the same time, you hear everything what society's telling you. So you're getting what you view with everything else better. Eventually, something's going to break. You're either going to be like, fuck the rest of the world, or you know what, they're right. You're going to do sink or swim. Either way, I look at it this way. I chose to swim and chose to figure out who I am more and learn who I am. And in the process, help others to figure out who they are. And learning through it. I'm learning through examples of my own work and through with students and all that who also started to identify as transitioning and learning from them. They gave me a strength that I did not have, because I'm like, you're telling me and you're expressing this to me and you're telling me this and with a full confidence in me to help. And I'm like, yeah, so this is my aha moment. Like, I know that here I'm comfortable with who I am. I've become more open. I have no problem saying to my ass, yes, I date trans women. But it takes that strength, and it takes a lot of success and failure too, disappointments and heartaches for you to get to that point. So it's a serious transition. Your aha moment starts here, but it's the beginning of your transition. Your beginning when you start to acknowledge and you're introduced into that world. And that's when my aha moment right there. It was a blessing that I was, because in that, my self-discovery. I just started, at that point, I was my transition to becoming the full man that I am today.
So Bryanna, thank you so much. What would you like to do?
And I would like to ask another question, because when we were doing this conversation, a lot of the controversy behind it actually came from other trans women. So I want to know, I'm going to ask two questions. How do you guys feel when you have you're now at a place where you know what you like and you've accepted yourself? How do you then feel when you have trans women that, and this is words I've heard trans women say, that there is something mentally wrong with men that are attracted to trans women, specifically trans women who are pre-op or non-op. How does that feel? How does that make your level of how does that impact your level of self-acceptance? And what was that
Okay, because I've always been attracted to women. Can first of all, you throw away. You just toss it aside. You just to live your truth, to fight through all of the garbage, all of the things that you go through, and just be yourself. It's truly amazing. There's a strength in that. There's a strength in seeing someone, hold their head up and live their life. Um, to those women who think that there's something wrong with the fact that I'm attracted to trans men, then you're not the woman for me.
It's very true.
It's just that simple. Whether you are post-op, non-op, pre-op, whatever, you're always going to be a woman of trans experience. That's never going to change. There is a difference between trans women and cis women. Your lived experience is different than a cis woman. Okay, that is a fact. You may not agree with what I'm saying, but you can't give me any factual evidence that says anything otherwise. The things that you have to go through, the challenges that you have in life are different than what cis women have. So, and again, because you go through that, because you embrace who you are, there's a strength in that. There's a strength in doing that. I want that kind of strength. I want to be that strong. I want to be that strong to go through life, to fight against any and everything that the society has told me, the society has felt, all of these things. So, there's a strength in that. So, and what was the second part of your
Can't remember.
what was the second part, Bryanna?
Have you guys ever tried to go to mental health providers when you were, and what was that experience like?
Yeah, and real quickly, when I mentioned earlier where I had to go through a custody battle with my son, and my ex-wife literally tried to take away my custody rights. We had joint custody. I wasn't even in a relationship at the time. My son was about 13 or 14 years old. And she tried to make it a big deal that I was dating trans women. So he had been seeing a therapist who I thought was an idiot, because the crux of the issue was how my ex-wife and I dealt with one another. It wasn't me and my son. Me and my son have a wonderful relationship. Trans women helped raise my son, so that wasn't an issue. So I took him to another therapist, and when we got there, long story short, she looked and realized, she said, okay, your son doesn't have behavior issues because you looked at him and you told him what to do on two different occasions without saying a word. She said, so what is the problem? And so I had to educate her. And so I became very, very frustrated, that I had to educate her. And so and the therapist said, in the session where my son and I were sitting together, she said, well, how long have you been gay? And my son said, my father's not gay. And he got, he was like, hey, my dad's not gay, because who he knew as my partner. He said, Miss Toya is not a man. He was insulted by that. And so, it took me time to educate that mental health professional, because she didn't even know what, when I used the term trans attracted, she didn't even know what it meant.
Has anyone else had any experiences?
And asking about the mental health. I don't feel that it's something that I feel that's a part of me and the way I want to live. I don't feel there's something mentally wrong with me. Me being attracted to trans women, there's nothing mentally wrong with me. The mental aspect of those people that commit the violence and do those atrocious acts, those are the people who are a problem. I didn't feel I needed to seek mental health. I needed to seek people to talk to, people like me. I needed to try to find people like me. So if you call that mental health, then fine. Yes, I wanted to find people I could relate to, because I couldn't. That's what I needed. And I knew a therapist, unless they're attracted to trans women, what can they really tell me?
Exactly.
What can they really tell me? That's what I was looking for. So I don't think I needed necessarily I don't think a mental health. And so that's how I feel about that. I feel people always think that mental health is something that we need to do, but not when it's something that you feel and that this is coming from your heart. Your heart is your way. Your heart is telling you the truth. You know what I'm saying? Your heart is telling you your truth. and just wants to let it come out. You don't necessarily need a therapist for that. You don't need mental health for that. You just need people you can relate to help you. You need to find strength in the people and real friends and the real love that's out there. Find strength in that, and that's better. You don't need to self-medicate. You don't need to have somebody tell you what Freud thinks or what everybody else and all that. No, you don't need that at all. So,
Antwan, is there something you want to say about mental
Yeah.
health?
I deal with my own mental health issues. That stems from my childhood. I don't think there's actually anything wrong with being treated as weak. I don't think for 1 second that there's anything actively wrong with it, and not even passively wrong with it. If you want to get, if you want to get technical, there's nothing wrong with it. There can't be. Here's why. Here's the problem I have though. Why would there logically, and I ask this question logically, why would you think there's something wrong with this unless you have the same training that we broke out of, but you weren't able to? I feel like if you have that low self-esteem that someone liking you for you, not for your genitals and nothing like that, someone liking you for you is an issue. Why are you in the discussion then? The discussion is pretty much decided because you can't look past this. We're not ever going to have a dialogue.
So the you're talking about are the trans women.
Yes.
That have issues with you not, but have issues with you being attracted to them because they are trans.
See,
which is only an aspect of who we are. I think that is very silly. It's not, I've had people write me and say, oh, they're fetishizing us, and and they're only tranny chasers. I don't use that term at all, and I'm gonna open the floor up for you guys to talk about that. You're on the DL chasers, any other horrible term you all feel about those terms, especially if they're coming from within the community. I mean, I was really shocked at how many people struggle with this within our community, feeling like if someone likes me because I'm trans, whether you're pre or post, that didn't even matter. It was just simply and what I feel, and this is just my opinion, that shows a lack of your own self-esteem. That shows a lack of you not having pride in who you are. I'm a very proud Black trans woman.
Exactly.
Period. Okay? And so what I find appalling about it is, and even when I was asking them about the definition, it changed from state to state, from person to person. So then it became to a point where anyone who had been with more than one trans woman was a chaser. Then I'm like, wait a minute. So it's out of control. And so I want to know how y'all feel about it.
And I think that goes into also the people you meet and the people you surround yourself with. If all you surround yourself with men that only objectify you, then that's what you're going to see. And that's what people in the sex industry and escorts and those who might be promiscuous and not even in the industry. If you're around buttheads and assholes, then that's how you're going to see the world.
Right? Yeah.
But as an asshole. But if you're around men and that's all and those men are exactly what they're there for. They're lusting after you. Because all they want to do is have sex with you. All they want to do is do all that. That's all they see you as.
But there's no different than being trans and cis in that because I made a post on Facebook recently and talked about not attacking post-op women, but saying that if you think that getting your GRS is going to keep you from being objectified as a woman, then you're absolutely nuts because men objectify women. That's it. So it doesn't matter if you're a trans woman, post-op, pre-op, or non-op. It doesn't make it right either. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying that if you feel that once you take this journey, once you take that step, that things are going to change. You're still going to be a woman. A guy's still going to watch you walk by.
He's still going to be like this.
Y'all so silly.
You know,
I have to do it at the same time.
you know, I mean, but that's what's gonna happen. You know, we're gonna look at you. You know, we gonna watch you. You know, watch your booty shaking. We gonna watch your wiggle. We gonna be like, hey, you know, hey, what's that, baby? You know, you gonna break it down.
No, we're not gonna go
And
back.
you know, but you know, but how is there something wrong with that? How is that gonna change? It's not because, and you know, I don't have my X-ray contacts in, so I can actually see, you know, and that's gonna peer into your DNA and all this other stuff. So, you know, I'm looking at you. You're a woman. I'm looking at you, and then it's like, hey, how you doing? And then we go from there. You know, so again, I just think, again, you know, women who are trans experience and who embrace, you know, the journey that took them to where they are, I think that they are more attractive. I think that they are more, whether they're pre-op or post-op, I think they are more attractive. I think they're more mentally stable.
Something we can relate and draw.
Right.
Yeah, relate to.
Right, and we can draw strength from each other. We can draw strength from each other. If you don't look at yourself in a positive light, then you need to do some work on yourself, because ain't nothing wrong with me.
But furthermore, should one be penalized for who they're attracted? Well, should one be penalized for who they're attracted to? Should I? Because that's the type of woman that I like. All right, that's the type of woman. There's many different types of women. That's the type of woman that I like, that I find attracted to. I should be penalized for that. Why should I be penalized for that? Is a gay man penalized for liking men and wanting to be with that man and wanting to be with the man? Is he penalized? Is he a gay chaser? No. That's who he wants. That's who he's attracted to. That's what he wants. So therefore, it's the same way. That's the type of woman I'm attracted to. If I'm not, then that's different. But I'm attracted to trans women, and I'm proud of it. And I shouldn't be called a chaser for it.
Or how is that different from a fetish? So we have the people who believe that it's a fetish.
Let me go on that. I love that. Yes.
I want next on that.
Please on that. First off, all right.
We done sparked the
The chasers, okay? The chasers only see sex. Only see sex and objectivity. Trans attracted men are more. We don't just see sex. We want friendship. We like to get to know you on a different level. These are my friends.
Yep.
My friends. We are not sexual. I don't see them as, okay, this is something I want to hit. No, these are people I can learn from. These are women I can gather strength from, learn from, who are in my corner. That's what a trans-attracted brother is. A trans-attracted brother can be your friend, not just your lover, not just the man that your sugar daddy, not just whatever. He is this man that's in your corner and is going to support you and protect you if you need protection from the assholes or whatever. Support you. You act right in terms of you messed up doing this wrong. If you did wrong,
she will give you some
act
right
if you mess up, because she's the same way, to teach you and to learn. These people you learn from, grow from, they are your friends. A training chaser is looking for friends. A training chaser is looking for the nearest whatever, the nearest whatever, or whatever that chaser whatever he likes. All right. But that's what a chaser is. A chaser doesn't care about your feelings. A chaser doesn't want to see you in the morning. A chaser is not going to give you a call.
He gonna run.
All right.
Pants on.
That's a pussy. That's a pussy. All right. That's a pussy and a coward. All right. A real man will do all these things. A real man is a gentleman. A real man will look out for you and recognize that a trans woman is the type of woman you want, and the same things that you do in the cisgender, being a gentleman, doing those things is what you do for a trans woman too. All right, the same values, the same things that make up a gentleman. That's me. That's just me.
See, I'm with Jonathan 100%, but I'm gonna add my own experience. I was a member for 8-9 years of a Yahoo chat room that was devoted to transgender people. I know a chaser when I see one, and I remember how these people look. I've been passing friends with people that would be considered chasers. So I want to stress this as emphatically as possible. I ain't no fucking chaser. I ain't finna pretend to be one to sustain this stupid ass narrative. I'm not it. I know a chaser when I see him. I'm not him. I got plenty of friends that are trans, and that's all they were. I never lusted after them. I never wanted them. Nothing like that. And making this argument completely ironclad is that wedding ring that I foolishly didn't bring with me that I should flash. Because I'm already married to a girl. She let her kill me. I die happy. But that's the point. If you ain't willing to put yourself on the firing line, if you have your orgasm and you run out the door like your pants on fire, that right there is where you're getting to chaser mode. This man ain't no chaser, I'm not no chaser, and this man damn sure ain't no chaser.
He's funny looking, but he ain't no chaser.
I was not going to say that.
See, I can't see.
Well, here's the thing. You know, and some of you out there may have followed me and have heard my story before. You know, I've never pretended that I didn't do problematic things in my life as far as in my relationships with trans women. You know, I've always been, 100% clear. There are two women sitting in this room who have known me for a number of years, and there's a couple of guys here who have known me for a couple of years. You know, online through the Yahoo groups and we have educated each other. And we have supported each other. Outwardly, inwardly. But it seems like it's always the same circle of guys. You know, I don't know why. You know, Jonathan is kind of newest to our club. We got 1 minute. We're gonna come back for one more segment, I guess. But.
Okay, well, this will go to part 3, so we're gonna close this out. Conversations with Tona Brown, trans attracted male panel. Yes, boys, yes. So I want to talk a little bit about the transition.
Okay.
Because that's your terminology.
Okay.
Right? I think
Where
that's
can I find
really
the links
important.
for the live stream so people can tune in live?
Just go to my YouTube page.
So if I go to the YouTube page,
Aeon
Better
4.
run on up there now.
I think I actually have a link. If you go to my page, I shared the link on my page.
Well, I'm gonna go one down here.
Yeah, it'll say like you.
Oh,
You're taking a bathroom break.
The one down there is
Okay. We're taking a bathroom break, y'all. Because we already an hour in.
oh, good. What time is it? Like
1:14.
1:14. Okay, so we was only doing this.
Good grief.
Well, this been fun.
Yeah, I was thinking we could go into the transition and then talk about the importance of community, especially with the community. What it looked like back in the Yahoo group days.
Yes.
What we saw in Chicago and where you guys.
Oh my gosh, them things back in the day, them Yahoo groups and Black Planet.
TG personal.
And then I had Women of
Talk
Distinction.
City.
It was just so many things.
Yeah, it was so many y'all.
But it was a lot of, but it was a lot of fun too.
Yeah, we got we
Because
should
you got
capture
to
that,
talk-
capture that nostalgia of what it
And you got
was
to
like.
meet people that you
somebody-
normally would not have gotten a chance to.
Yeah, remember our Yahoo family?
That's how we
You
all
know,
met.
that's how we all met.
Wow.
It's amazing. All from the internet.
16 years ago?
Yeah, I was 22 when I first met
You
y'all.
want to use my phone?
I was 22.
I like it. We have such
No,
a
I'm saying you want to
variety.
use my phone to call.
We have a variety of ages here.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
It's an
and that's
outlet right now.
important.
If you know the variety of ages in the house from 22 all the way to
Mhm.
572. So
Guys, we
Oh,
had
yeah.
98
Watch out,
people watch the second video.
Okay.
what happened to the other 112 that was supposed to be watching from the first segment?
Their connections may have dropped in and out because
Yeah.
The cricket
as I was
phones.
looking at the thing, it was saying that the
You guys ready?
Yeah. The chaser got on. That's me. Going out the chaser.
Call ourselves the Chaser Squad.
And
then the
call
ones
out
that
where
go-
to find them. Lord.
They called out those that call us the chasers. They all left too. Like,
Called out where to find the girl. I said, Lord Jesus.
So we're gonna talk about.
Yo, gave that page a
So we're going to
plug.
talk about the transition that men have in their journey to get greater acceptance of themselves. Because, of course, we know the story. You know, when it comes down to women, we've been seeing it over and over. But you guys haven't even had a chance to have any documentaries or anything about your experience.
Because that's never.
Mr. Anthropologist, that's something you should be getting a documentary on. That would be good.
Or write a grant for it.
Mm-hmm.
For a documentary?
Yeah, for a documentary documenting the guys.
Very interesting to me.
Good.
So I really would,
Got it.
really love to work on that.
Get it in, get it in. I just want to show my support. Good to see
Find
you.
out my research, if we find out that my presidents have been trans all along. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Lord. That's the only way I can tell people where to go. That sign. Look at you go, Bob. So look, let me see. You, how old are you?
51.
51.
All right, she was the same age. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. That's right. They just jealous. They just jealous because they don't look this good. That's all.
The older I get,
That was
the
the
younger
king.
I get.
And shoot, y'all look better than most of us.
Okay.
You know,
Ready?
in that movie, Danish girl tell you that. The Danish
Ready?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've been
About what? Oh, okay.
Okay, we're ready.
Okay.
Okay, y'all right here? Okay.
So much going on. Yeah, but then we gotta get someone to look. Does anyone have any questions?
No, I mean,
That's
we
it.
No, nobody's posted any
Or we
questions.
can just talk
Okay.
about, or we can just talk, ask.
Okay.
We have the audience here.
We have our in
And
studio.
you're a lovely audience.
I'm on my beads, you know, my jelly beads.
Okay, we have to go live, y'all.
Okay.
Point the ring. Okay.
Okay. This is
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Conversations with Tona Brown. I'm here with my panel of part 3. I'm here with my panel of trans attracted men and my beautiful friend here, Bryanna and Jenkins, and we are talking about the journey of trans attracted men. And in this segment, we're going to talk about their transition. Of course, for those of you who have followed me for so long and look at anything in the media, there's so much about what we go through as women to transition, both the physical, mental, and emotional. That has been done, okay? But what I really would like to see is more work done for men. And I would like to see a community of men get together and share experiences. So who would like to talk about their individual transition?
Let me start. First of all, I want to talk about something before we get into transition. I want to talk about, I have all these theories that I've come up with. One of them I call the Prince Charming effect. There are many trans women out there who believe they're going to meet a man who has never dealt with a trans woman, and that he is going to all of a sudden be 100% okay with everything, no matter how society has trained his brain to think about gender and sexuality. That he is going to meet a trans woman, he is going to be all of a sudden okay with it, and then life is going to go on because he's never met another trans woman, and you're the one for me, and life goes on. It's so wonderful. It takes time, because again, there is no template, especially for me, starting back, back in 1985 when I had an S curl.
Oh, nice.
Actually, it was before then when I had an S curl, but I let my soul glow years ago.
From your afro.
But there was absolutely nothing there, and so what happens is you internalize a lot of this, and and because I'm very cerebral, and I started to research it, and every time I looked, there was nothing, and even in what I saw and what I found out. It was just telling me that you're either straight, gay, or bi. Well, bisexual means that I like men and I like me. I can look at myself naked, but I don't want to look at nobody else naked. No other man naked. So it's like I'm not into men. I'm not into masculinity. I'm not into that male. I'm not into any. If you identify as a male, I don't care if you identify yourself as female between 9 p.m. and 4 in the morning. And then the rest of the day that you identify as male, I don't want to be bothered with you. So it was learning to discern, what that meant first and foremost. and transitioning into that acceptance of self. It's difficult because again, there's no template. Again, I think the beauty of a lot of this with me is because I have friends who are trans women of trans experience, and there are other guys. Antwan, who I've known for more than a decade. One of the studio members were sitting here. I've known for over a decade. We've had conversations. We've had conversations. We've talked to each other. We've shared stories. We've shared experiences. And it's like it's different when you can share those stories and experiences and get to a point. But when you are inundated with like I said again, and I keep harping on the Abrahamic religions because that's what demonizes trans women. When I talk about European colonialism, when you look at the map that we're going to post that you guys will be able to look at and understand what that means, and understand that trans women have been a part of this world, of this existence, it makes you look at things differently. But there's no education. So, I finally got to a place where I got tired of living a duality. I got tired of my public face, look at me over here, but don't look over here. You get tired because it's exhausting. You're in this Mobius loop of saying, okay, I'm not gonna mess with trans women anymore, but then I get the itch and I start messing with trans women, and I'm like, oh my God, I mess with trans women, I'm gonna mess with a lot of cis women. And you keep going back and forth and back and forth. It's mentally draining, it's physically draining, it's economically draining because, getting divorced and things of that nature. And you have to get to a point where you can look in the mirror and say, I accept myself, I love myself, and these are the type of women I love, and take it from there. Until you can say that to yourself in the mirror, you are going to have issues. You are going to have issues. It's so important that you have self-acceptance, but we have to build a community. Again, I have guys sitting here who, I've been able to interact with, and I've been lucky. But most of us don't have that because we're so afraid. We allow fear to control every aspect of who you are and what you do. That you make these poor decisions and you hurt people who you really care about.
Yes.
You care about these people, but you don't know how to love yourself. So you can't give that love. And until you can love yourself, until you can look in the mirror, and I've been, when I counsel some guys, and I counsel dozens and dozens of guys, if you can't tell yourself that you happen to like trans women, and there's nothing wrong with a woman with a penis, or if she's gotten, she's had her GRS, if you can't say that, that I can deal with a woman of trans experience, and I love that, and there's nothing wrong with it, then you're gonna have a problem. You're gonna have a problem. You're gonna have
failed
an issue.
relationships, failed everything.
Right, but we don't see people like us. We don't interact with people like us. For most of my life, I never did. There are people who are close to me who were doing it, but we are so afraid of what people would think, how people would think of us. And at the end of the day, it is better to live in your strength, to live in your truth, just like trans women do. Trans women do it every day.
Yes.
They do it every day. And as far as DL men are concerned, how dare you siphon off that energy, siphon off that power, siphon off that strength, and use that strength, that these women have, and then you go hide in the corner, or you wait till it's 2 o'clock. Is anybody outside? I'm gonna come over your house, but I don't want nobody to see me. I don't want nobody to see me because something might happen, and then something, I don't even know. So, you have to learn to love yourself. You have to learn to accept yourself. And transitioning for men is real. And you need to find out where a guy is. A guy's not gonna take you out.
He ain't working.
He's not. That
He's
he's
always
not.
coming to your house.
Yep.
You meet at a restaurant, a bar, at a hotel, or if that means that there's something else going on.
Right. Or if he'll only meet you in a gay establishment or something, and then he's got his sunglasses on and he's sitting in the cut, then you know he has an issue. But if he takes you out, if you go for coffee at Starbucks, if you go for a walk, if you do all of these things.
If you go for coffee at McDonald's, he doesn't hide, you just cheap.
Now you're getting personal.
But again, you have to take the time to do the work on yourself. And a lot of men don't take the time to do the work on themselves because they're so consumed, with fear and doubt and hatred of themselves.
But Troy, I think, and that I'd love to jump in on that in terms of with that transition about, our transition as men, especially as black men, our transition is on so many different levels. We have to have our identity as black men. All right, that's one. We have the world against us for that. We like trans women, so now we have the rest of the world that didn't like us. Okay, now we have that piled on against us. Then we have to worry about the fear of our own success sometimes as black men. We have a big fear about that. I know I've had that in myself, in my own, keeping myself where I should be. And so if we're not where we need to be, not only mentally, professionally, emotionally, whatever you want to call it, the stable aspect, how can we possibly, that's a transition for black men that takes a long time for some of us. Some of us never get there, all right? That's why we have a lot of brothers in jail. That's why we have brothers here with no jobs and all that, because our transition is all our lives, to the day we die.
Yes.
All right, to the day we die. But if we don't accept that fear, don't accept ourselves, how can we possibly give the world what the black love? The world want to see that. When black men love, we love right, we love well. You know what I'm saying? But in order for us to do that, we have to be strong here with ourselves. And that is a hard thing for a lot of brothers to understand because they are so scared of their own self. They're scared of themselves, they face their own self, and they're scared of their own success. And they're scared of their own chances of actually coming out here, of actually being somebody, being that model for people to see. Being what people need to be, being that Obama, being that change that we want to see, being that Obama, we are scared of that, and so that has to be, we have to address that.
And then to your point about with that change in Obama, look at what he has gone through. Look at what he's gone through. Look what we went through at creating change. We're attacked. Why are we being attacked? We are attacked because we're telling the truth. We are attacked because we are out here saying openly and honestly, hey, I happen to love trans women, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you have the very objects of your affection come at you, there was a couple of times, and if it wasn't for the people sitting here on this panel and this man right here who literally got in my face, pushed me up against the wall, and told me, oh no, you don't have an opportunity to say I'm not doing this no more, because without you I wouldn't be here, and then when you start to hear things like that, it just it's scary. It's scary on one point, but it made me say, wow, the passion that this man showed, when I was at my weakest point, he picked me up. He picked me up. She picked me up. She picked me up. And we need a community. We need a community. And I love these brothers. I love my sisters.
Get our hand fixed.
As you get old, it gets messy. But we need that community, and we don't have that community. And it's very, very important that we have that community. I'm proud to say that I love these men.
You too, bro.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And that's a big issue.
I like to think of it like this. I've always believed that, and this is connected, but one of Escape's that biggest songs is called My Little Secret, and the chorus goes, you're my little secret, and that's how we should keep it. It's I've always been a believer that if you, as far as this is concerned, if you want to be keeping it secret, and you want to keep nosy Gladys Kravitz over there from looking over and seeing what you're doing, and you don't want to take your girl anywhere, and you don't want to do anything, and you don't deserve it. That's a big part of my transition, and that's one of the reasons why I got in your face. Because at 21 years old, when I first met you, I would not have done it, but I would have been more susceptible to it. Because when you're 21, first of all, you don't know. You can't know.
You think you know.
You think you know.
But you don't. And that's, if it wasn't for you, I never would have been able to flesh out this philosophy of mine, which goes like this. I am Antwan Fields. I am a scholar. I am a sports lover. I am a trans attracted man. and I'm proud of all three of those things.
Mm.
And I would never have been able to say those words without you.
Yeah.
So that's why I couldn't let you just give up.
Right.
And we have to recognize that we are more than just what people see. You know, there's more than just trans women. There's more to being a trans woman. There's trans women have other interests. We find the commonalities. We find the things that make us our community. We are brothers here. We're more than just trans attracted brothers. He so much likes to play basketball, and we have other things. He tries to play ball. I have my interest. All of that, you know. We have other things that make us define us who we are. We find those commonalities, and we grow a community that way. We can be different. We don't have to be the same, but we love and respect one another, and recognize and remember. And I always say this, especially people of color. At the end of the day, people of color, especially black people, we all black. At the end of the day, don't nobody like us. Period. All right, don't nobody like us. In this room collectively, this is a bunch of hate going all around the world. It's a bunch of black people here talking about something, and people hating on us. Yep. So we have to find these things, find that strength for us. And when we recognize that everybody's our brothers and our sisters, that's where we go from there.
So do you, I want to give you all an opportunity just briefly without going into specifics because of the court case.
Oh yeah.
Just to talk a little bit about what happened from your perspective.
And just how did you feel about it?
Creating change.
Stepping up like that, having a big platform.
I'll let your brother go first.
Yeah, because even you still were in the room.
Yeah, you were there.
Okay, I'll go into specifics. I'm just say it like this. I was thoroughly disgusted, and I was, when I recorded that video, the first thing I said was that for the first time in my adult life, I was ashamed to be a trans-attracted male. That was the first time, and to date, the only time that has ever happened. What I saw was one of the most embarrassing and disturbing spectacles that I have frankly ever laid my eyes on in my entire life. It was. I'm trying to express this without getting across how much anger how much anger at the same time.
Disgusting.
Yes, I didn't want to use that word again. Yeah, that works. Without going into specifics, is what I saw, and then here I am in the room being told that that's not my space. We should just go ahead and let this character assassination continue. What kind of world is it that something like that could happen, and despite all these laws and rules and all the stuff we have, we're handcuffed and prevented from any kind of rebuttal? That right there just made me done with that whole organized movement. They can keep it. They can have that little gossip fest. They can be gossip folks. Let them do it. That's their business. We got more serious things to worry about.
It was shock. When the panel started, I reached under the table and I grabbed Tona's hand. I don't know. I just felt the energy. I didn't know what was going to happen. Tona didn't know what was going to happen. And Tona looked at me like, because I joke and say I'm nervous and whatever. I'm never nervous. I'm not a shy person. I don't have a problem in speaking in a public forum. But it was just an energy that I felt, and when it happened, and how it happened, and the accusations that flew, that every single accusation that they made were so quickly dismissed and dispelled, and it was to the point of being ridiculous. And like Tona said, there is some litigation, and there's going to be more litigation down the road for those who think that they have been insulated. You've made this you did this publicly. You did this live. You did this, and you continue to defame me. At the end of the day, okay, we'll let the courts put it out there. But again, how I felt was I felt betrayed. I never felt more betrayed ever in my life. But by that same token, the people in the community who supported me, the people here on this panel who supported me, the people who outside of it who just reached out to me. They made me feel better and they gave me hope, you know. And I realized, like I said, with starting with Antwan, who, like I said, who literally pushed me up against the wall and got in my face, and just didn't let me just fall into despair. You know, like I said, I'm proud to call him my brother. I'm proud to call Jonathan my brother. I'm proud, you know, the gentleman sitting in the audience who reached out to me, you know, and it's just like, you know, and these are people who have known me for years, you know, so, you know, it was just, it makes me look at, you know, people want to get fame from activism. This is the crux of the matter. They want to be famous for activism. They want to be the Laverne Cox. They want to be the Janet Mox of the world. That's not what activism is about. You know, I've been doing this for years, and that's not what it's about. I've never tried to be famous. I've never tried to gain this fame from doing this. All I want to do is get the message out there and say there's nothing wrong with being attracted to women of trans experience. However you want to call it, whether you want to call it trans attracted, trans amorous, trans loving, trans affirming, whatever you want to call it. It's so silly. Language evolves. You know, there was never and by the way, trans attracted, that term was started by a trans woman, Aquia Grant. Hello, Aquia. I love you, sister. I love you, sister. She started some dynamic groups that we were able to chop and talk on levels that were unprecedented before. You know, especially with people of color, especially black folks. So, you know, if you have a problem with the terminology, how about you come to the table and we talk about it, and not act like petulant and not be petulant children. You know, this is our place. This is our piece of the pie. It's all about us. It's all about us. No, yes, it's all about everyone. It's about community. It's about community, and we are a community. And until we start dealing with this as a community, because everybody outside doesn't give a damn about us.
Yep.
And I mean us as a whole. They don't give a damn about us. But if we are infighting, that's just going to make them say, it's...
And that's really where I'm coming from. Is I wasn't on the panel. I was helping. I was in the background on the seat. I was sitting right there up front. And I saw and what I saw, and I'm going to start on two things. The first thing I saw, that hurt me the most, is I saw friendships being destroyed. All right. What I saw was a community of people split. People who were elders who were treated like they were nothing.
Yep.
People who were here who were supposed to be friends turning on people, to stand in solidarity with their sisters. People who were there to support and all that, who were all sitting there asking, "Why are you up there?" and all these other things, and here to support. And then the same ones turning. So I saw friendships being destroyed. I saw the world seeing black people not being able to get together and do what we need to for our community. Our biggest problem as a people, we have no unity. We are so split and divided on every single thing. But yet, I saw at that conference, all the other groups of whites, Latinos, everything else, they were in unity together for their issues.
Yep, sure were.
But yet, we keep showing the world that there's black people there. Black people are black people. Straight, gay, trans, polka dotted, blonde hair, big, little, whatever. We are black people. We have issues. We have problems. We have to come together, and we have to address these things. And the world saw us fighting. The world saw us tearing each other down at this event. And also, I felt robbed. All right? I felt robbed. I spent my money. I spent my hard-earned money to come up to Chicago to participate in this because I wanted to share my truth. I wanted to share and be in support of these brothers, my sisters here, who are here because we have something we believe in, a cause that we believe in. And there were other people in that audience, too. I remember there was a girl behind me, a cisgender woman who was there for her friend, her sister, who would transition, and she said her new birthday would be a year to the next day after the conference, and that she was here to learn more for her best friend, to show her friend support, and she had come out here for this to learn. She was robbed. Okay, ain't nobody giving me that money back. Not that I wanted it back, but it took from me something I spent time, effort, and stuff to come up here to spread, and I didn't get a chance to do that. And I was kicked out. I stood in solidarity with my friends and I left out. I could have stayed in there and done that. But the issue that they wanted to talk about was what we were here for. What we were here to talk. Violence, that's a big thing. Violence amongst trans women. And you have to talk, and brothers have to talk about that, because guess what? A lot of times it's the brothers who are out there doing these things. We have to educate these brothers. We have to get these brothers out of this mindset. And it takes brothers to do that sometimes. And we didn't get a chance to do that, so I felt robbed. And I felt ashamed. I felt ashamed. I felt ashamed as a black man. I felt ashamed as a man, as a trans-attracted man for a second. I felt ashamed for my sisters who were here also, who were being put in the same boat, who were being called and labeled and said that they're wrong for coming to support us. I saw a lot of things. And then of course, as you hear later on, some of these same people, not to get into names or anything, but some of these same people who are talking about violence against trans women, who are known to be abusing trans men.
Yep.
Oops. I call it out.
Sorry, don't say that out
I
loud.
said it because I don't care. You come find me. I got something for that too. You know, and I got something because my intellectual detail, I have something to say on that. But I felt these people are being attacked. It was just ridiculous. And it's sad.
It was
It's
wrong.
very sad.
And what really bothered me, the most, was that the people in there were quick to go with this stereotype. This man did something. We're already quick to judge. I don't know if they know, they were ready to escort us out. Security came to escort us out. Not the people that came to disrupt the panel, but to escort us out, because they were wanting to take him out, saying he actually did something. They were ready to take him to arrest him and bring him out. Like, go get these people. The fact that people want to believe always into the negative about black men, trans-attracted black men, non-trans-attracted black men, whatever, period. The fact that people are ready to believe sometimes the stereotypes and the lies and the viciousness is sad. They're quick to believe it.
Yep.
Quick to believe it.
Yeah.
All right. Now, in some cases, there are some folk that actually do these things. We won't go into them names, no Cosby. But we will not go into that. Much as I love Cliff, Cliff Huxtable, he was wrong. But anyway, that's how I felt. And I was ashamed, I was hurt, and I just saw the friendships ending. I saw a lot of these things, and I said, that's wrong. That's just straight wrong. And there are ways to get your point across.
That's right.
The girls that did this was not the proper venue.
They betrayed
Tona
and Bryanna.
They betrayed their own sisters, but then they set their movement back. Because now what they're doing is they went on the stereotype about trans women being crazy, doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yes, that was some crazy
reinforced,
stuff.
they
reinforced a crazy stereotype, and it is the wrong stereotype. And because there are all these other sisters out here who did not stand with him because they knew what it was. They knew this is the wrong way to approach something. You need to get your message across. You do it the right way through the proper channels. You could have come in there and talked and asked questions. You could have even protested outside. Would have been fine.
Right.
But you
Or
took
came
away.
to us first, and I think that was the thing that made me and Bryanna the most hurt. Was no one said anything to me. No one said that there was even a problem. And supposedly one of the altercations was supposed to have been the night before. So again, you had so many opportunities to come and talk to myself, Bryanna, Sharon Ledman Hicks, Kyla Broadus, even if any of the accusations were true that were not, you didn't come to me. You didn't say anything. You tried to get on our platform, and you wanted to get some fame from it. The subject matter that you came in with didn't make any sense. You looked like buffoons. And in fact, the people from overseas, Canada, some of my followers that are in England, and that were calling me and saying, "Are you okay? This isn't making any sense. I thought this was about men. Why are these women here?" And then to say that we are trying to profit from your pain. This stuff doesn't make no money. This doesn't make no money. This needs to be done. I was appalled. I felt let down, and I was very, very hurt by the situation, because these women also tried to include me in it and say that I knew what was going on and that I was working with them to make this protest happen. All of that was false, and so that's why I did the video. You can go on my Facebook page and you can see the live video where I did disclose about the specifics of certain things in the conference.
So I got two more things to throw. Okay, one. First of all, Kyla Broadus was. This is an underrated part. Kyla was actually injured during the scuffle when someone apparently, I'm trying to remember exactly what happened, but he did sustain a minor back injury during that. So automatically wrong. You hurt in this quest to defame this man. You hurt a person, other trans person.
You hurt an elder in the community.
Yep. So I hope you're proud of yourselves. Here's the other thing, though. This is how we should have known the whole thing was absolute codswallop. The first thing they said was an incident that supposedly happened at the hotel, right? Well, that would have been real, unless he's got Stretch Armstrong capabilities. It would have been real difficult for him to reach across the street and up the stairs all the way to his room and on the 30th floor when he's sitting in the hotel bar with me. With
on live camera.
Eating French fries, by the way.
On live camera. We were doing a Facebook Live thing till 12:30 or something at night.
But even beforehand, there were dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of people who were there. So
some of the people who were there in the bar stood up at the meeting at Creative Change in solidarity with this attack on this man.
And they were just hanging with him the night before trying to get with him.
We have to wrap this up because we're down to 1 minute, but I want to say this is part 3 of our conversation with trans attracted men. Thank you guys so much. We'll be back.
you want to just go to a Q&A?
Well, we need some
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah.
We need some music in between. What kind of music you talking about?
Yeah, they protested my event. A group of young activists or so-called activists.
One of them was my ex who was actually living with me up until December 30th.
What they did is
He said that I was.
they didn't want him on the panel, so what they tried to do was say, you can continue the panel as long as you get him off the panel. And then they bum rushed the panel and started talking about abuse and how they had been abused in the past by trans attracted men and all this. It was a mess.
They said well, first they said I abused her. I slapped her
The night before.
Choked her out.
Would have been difficult since he wasn't even in the building.
No, I was in the building
He was
earlier,
with us.
but I was,
She was doing
Creating
She was creating change.
JC part?
Yes.
And then the next story was, well, it happened on my job. When they came onto my job, she broke up. But there's a police report that says otherwise, which I published. And then they said, well, no, it happened at my house where I abused her and didn't give her her stuff. But then I jumped on her, and then I called the police, and then the police made them leave.
And now it was financial and emotional abuse.
It was.
And this was live streamed around the world.
And the two idiots that was with us,
I think
they were
Sharon's
in
trying
on
to forget it. Sharon came out there and was trying to control the audience. They went after her, told her to sit down. Monica Roberts.
They went after Monica.
They got in line with a bullhorn and got her face.
Yeah, it was about 40 people.
40?
Yeah, they all came with bullhorns, with screaming,
chanting in unison, everything.
chanting.
all of you now being sued. So.
And what they did is they when they came in during the lunchtime while everybody's eating, they slowly put themselves, started moving to the front and putting
Their
their
position came in like
So
a
they have
boss.
security?
And that's the other thing. They did not have security for our panel, so they were way on the other side.
But security
So by
was
the
ready
time
to
they
take us out.
came in, it was way too
They
late.
wanted to take us. That's why
They were all in my face. It was just like, and I was like,
us to leave and not
Yeah,
them.
thankfully he kept it. They all of them kept it really, really cool. And then 2 of the guys that was up there that was part of my panel turned on all of us and started protesting.
well, one of them,
against us.
his girlfriend was part of the organizers.
Right.
Both of them were going for the party.
I know for,
Tierra, she wasn't. She
But-
just joined in.
she joined in, but
Which is just as bad.
Just as bad,
You know,
yeah.
don't-
Which is what I made that
don't
point
say
about those who were there to stand all of a sudden.
okay, we're just gonna do Q&A, Bryanna, and then we're done.
Blind solidarity.
We're gonna do Q&A. If anybody from our
Big
Yeah,
Cross
it
is
was
a brother.
really
Big Cross is a brother, dude. I just
It was
support him.
really-
No, he's crazy.
Like
Big
it
Cross is
wasn't like
crazy.
a little like
It's not crazy.
you know, small
Stupid-
fallout.
stupid crazy people on the
It was
same
like-
page.
Oh, no.
Stupid
crazy is
they didn't get violent towards me. I mean, they were getting my face.
Stupid crazy is called
I
terror.
told them we wanted to come back.
Yes.
And then I ran outside to try to find out what was happening? What were the allegations and why were they saying this about him? And how come no one is saying
Yes,
anything
ma'am.
to me? I look crazy because I'm trying to figure out what's happening. Sharon Levin Hicks jumps up there trying to talk. Then they're like, well, Tona, we want you to bridge the gap. I'm like, I'm not bridging nothing. First of all, y'all don't have no security.
You got to go live now.
Okay.
Oh,
Live.
all
All
right,
right, we're back.
welcome to Conversations with Tona Brown. We are talking to our panel of trans-attracted men, and we were just speaking in part 3 about the Creating Change conference. If anyone has just anything else they would like to say about that, if you've said your piece, Bryanna, I know you haven't said anything. I would like for you to, if you can. If not, I totally understand. How did it make you feel to watch?
It's just, I wouldn't wish that situation on anybody. That just to have the community, the way they crucify us is something that we a little bit removed from it, so it doesn't hurt as bad. But you know, I don't have a lot of money. But I give what I can to the movement. So just to have the hard work that we all have done, the sacrifices, the tears, and everything, we were basically giving ourselves to this conference for the betterment of the community, because we're in a unique position right now, and just to have that whole thing destroyed, it was so embarrassing. It was just so embarrassing. It just saying people that I work with just turn on you. Just turn on you and just question your motives.
Yeah, it was a very difficult situation because one, we didn't know what was happening, and I think that it was an ambush. But what I will say is that what they achieved was nothing. What I will say is that they did give us a bigger platform, because now colleges and universities and organizations around the world want to hear about this conversation. And I'm not going to be in solidarity with crazy. So I just want to put that out there for all of you who felt that I should have been on some other side than where I am right now. I'm not going to be in solidarity with crazy. The accusations were horrible. They didn't make any logical sense. They were false. We were all there, so we knew what was going on. It was a monstrosity, and it looked so crazy to everyone
and just the
who
people
saw
that
it.
was a part of it on a personal level. I have sat with these people. I've worked with y'all. I went to bat with y'all when y'all were going through stuff that y'all was going through. So just to have, it was just a slap in the face. Because I'm somebody, I extend myself to people, I make myself available to people. So just to be ambushed like that, like, I know I have people I don't get along with, but I would never do something like that with somebody in my community, because when we all go out here, we could be the next hashtag. So though I don't agree with, I would never try to discredit or try to destroy somebody's work, because that's our legacy.
Right.
So just to have it tarnished like that is something I will never is something that I'm still working through. So it's just really hard, and it's really real, and it has real consequences. I just don't forget that happened to all of us. So.
It's not something you hear.
Yeah, it was definitely a traumatic experience, and from what Monica Roberts and so many people went through, it really was heartbreaking. I think, if anything else, what it did do too is make our community look at some of the ugly, and sometimes it takes a tragedy to see that we have issues that we need to work on.
But this conversation was supposed to be a start to work on issues from where we men sit, and for us to start calling out, other men, that is very, very important, because, there's so many men who who sit in the shadows, who lie and they're deceitful and all of that. And, but you don't want us to call them out. Why don't you want us to call them out? This conversation is going to go a lot of different ways.
Yep.
And we're going to continue to have these conversations. And you haven't stopped us. Again, the betrayal is something that's going to take a while for all of us to go over. To get over.
Yeah.
And I think on that though, Troy, with Nicole, you mentioned about calling out our brothers. I think that's something we might want to even rephrase it. You call out those that do wrong. All right.
I agree.
You
That's
support
what it
and you invite those who are trying and those who are questioning.
Right.
We have to invite these brothers here who don't know, who are scared.
Right.
All right. We have to invite them, not call them out, because calling them out comes with a form of shame.
Right.
We need to invite these, embrace these brothers, and not call out, but call forward.
Right.
Like going in the church, call forward to come in and come here,
But
come and
I
find
want to
your group.
say too that there's within the community, one of the things that we saw from this, and that some of the people who came to my rescue said, there is this fear amongst the community for anything that's masculine. That's anything that is, especially if it's black and masculine, because of the fear and what people are seeing with the murders and different things, didn't have anything to do with y'all. And for that, I apologize to you all that you had to go through that. It was also supposed to have been a safe space.
Right.
And that was not a safe space. That's not how you run a safe space. The security was nowhere to be found. And so
It wasn't a safe space for me.
It wasn't a safe space for all of us. It could have turned into a riot. So thankfully it did not. But I just want to applaud the strength of you guys who were on the panel, as well as those who were there. We had men that came from Atlanta. We had men from California. Like, it was so many different people that were there that didn't get to hear this conversation. So we made it our mission to make sure that this conversation happened. And just like I normally do with everything else, we put our own money into it. We're not here. You all want to make money from this movement. We are trying to do the right thing. We're trying to get the word out from another perspective in order for us to have a greater understanding of why this stuff is happening. And you took that away from everyone that was there. But you won't take it away anymore, darlings. Because that immaturity that you showed was embarrassing. But it helped the community to see that some of you need to be checked. It helped the community to see where those women and whoever else helped them, what their true intentions are and were. And so for that, I am grateful for the experience, even though it was a horrible one, it was traumatic, and it was violent. We're talking about violence against trans women, and you all didn't have any problems being violent against us and them. So you didn't even have the gall to come to me to even let me know what was going on. So again, I have a lack of respect for that, if nothing else. I don't have an issue with people protesting. I don't have an issue with people disagreeing with me. We're not going to agree on everything. I'm not going to agree on everything that anybody says because I'm an independent person. I think independently. But that's what conversations are about. And we were trying to give you a conversation. And again, even though we just have cisgender men on this panel, there's also a fear for any masculine embodied person in our movement. And we're not talking about it. And we are going to talk about it on Conversations with Tona Brown. I cannot wait to get my trans brothers up here so that they can talk about the same thing as well as their unique experience. And I'm looking for the right group of men. For all of you who are watching that want to volunteer to come and speak, you definitely have a platform with me.
And I want to say on a couple of things that are key to my heart. One thing about the Chicago thing, it really a passion for me. It brought a passion to recognize, even with our trans men, our brothers too. And that they need to know that we're in solidarity with them too, as well as our sisters, our trans men. And that violence against them, we don't tolerate either. All right, violence against anybody. But second, also looking at what advocacy really is. Advocacy is more than just protesting. Advocacy is learning and doing the work necessary, the behind the scenes. The protest is the end result. You look at Selma. Selma happened. The protest in Selma, they had to do all that work first before they got down to that. All right. So just thinking you can come up there with a picket and start protesting, no, that doesn't do a thing. And furthermore, bullying is not protesting.
Right.
No.
All right. It is not advocacy. And so these same people, these girls and anybody, whoever, learn what it is. Get the education too. Learn the education what it is. If you're gonna be an advocate, get some education and credential. Know what it is you're really doing. Because what you did was on the form of abuse and bullying, and look what's happening as a result of it. You got no word across, and you're about to come out of here with a lawsuit and come out broke.
Well, I want to close out with this. You can't speak from our point of view as a trans man, just as I can't speak from your experience as a trans man. You know, I got 30 years in the game. You know. And it's been hard. It's been a hard road. I made a lot of mistakes. You know, part of the reason why I do this is to make amends for the mistakes that I made. You know, to pay a penance on the hurt that I caused. You know, I do this from the heart. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing this before some of those young women transitioned, before they even knew who they were, who their identities were. You know, I've been doing this because, so. I've been trying my best to do the work to get the message out. You know, when there was nobody else saying these things and doing these things. You know, so again, there have been a couple of times where I was stumbling and I really wanted to give y'all a finger and to say screw it and just let you deal with it on your own, and then I go about my business. Because at the end of the day, I'm not really worried about violence against me. I'm not. Never have been. I'm not worried about negativity in the community, or the society at large, demonizing me and treating me. I'm a black man. I deal with that every day. But I want to support my sisters. I want to support my brothers. I want to support the trans brothers out there. I want to let them know that, we are a community, we stand with you, and we need to stand together. Because there's too many people against us.
Right.
And if we can't stand together, how do we expect people on the outside to look at us in a positive way? And that is the biggest issue for me.
Right.
So that's all. We're gonna close it out.
We're gonna close it out on that. But I would like to know if anyone here would like to ask any questions.
Our exclusive studio audience. If there's any questions that you have, they pay good money. Yes, $8,000 a person.
Tickets cost 1-800 free tickets.
Does anyone have any questions?
Please
for
ask. Ask any question you feel like asking.
Come on, Renee. I know you.
Yes, this is my true faith.
This is an educational moment for me, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I don't have any questions, so they answer them.
Oh,
But that what we needed to hear that.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Anyone else?
Ask. That's what we're here for. That's why we had this panel.
Anything?
Well,
you wanna-
Does anybody have any questions that's watching on Facebook Live? Because I know
Know your lines and we'll answer.
you can't say that we tried to
We're gonna charge
silence
you for the meeting.
Right. That's
No,
true.
no.
Let me,
You get
matter
free
of fact,
answers.
let me
Free answers.
let me go.
Except for you got a pet dog.
Any questions for
Come on,
anybody
people.
that's watching?
Come on, people. We're here to
Please
answer.
type them and write a comment, and we will answer your questions now.
Okay.
We have a question from our
Oh,
studio
yeah,
audience.
I have a question.
The legalities of identity transition. What does that mean for you as a person who is maybe a spouse
Right.
of this individual?
That's a
What are
great
those
question.
challenges?
The legality. So, one of the things that we've been working on in the movement has to deal with if you're in a relationship with a trans woman, like the story of, which I love her, she's watching Nikki. The legalities of being in a relationship with a person of trans experience. How does it affect you? You're married, Antwan, so how does it affect you?
Well,
Where you live, especially. You're in
Well, I live in a very good state as far as trans legality are concerned. You're generally allowed to change names and things like that. But what it is it's more, the issue with us is more financial than it is anything else. It's not prohibitively expensive now, especially now that both of us are working. But it's more of a, do we really want to do this?